Hello! How's it going? Oh, was it a good week, stupid? I hope it was, because I put a lot of effort in it. Don't you dare say it was bad, because I would be upset. So, make a Minecraft server? Dude, I never played Minecraft. Can you believe that? I remember when Minecraft started becoming popular and someone showed me the game, and I was like, what is with this crappy graphics? I did not buy a GTX 780 at the time in order to play a game like Minecraft. Like, my graphics card would never respect me ever again. So I did not play Minecraft, and to this day I do not even know how Minecraft is played or what it's about. It looks like a game that's like Legos. I don't like Legos. Legos are annoying because every time I play with them, my mom told me to clean them up. And finding every piece of Lego was a hurdle, and then mom was like, there's a piece here, you did not clean your room properly. And I was like, God damn it. So no, I do not like Minecraft. I hate it. Hello, Zenith. Truckers! A lot of truckers in Canada. We're going to talk about them today. And we're going to talk about some other news that I didn't have the time to cover. Because, believe it or not, it was a lot of things that happened this week. Sometimes nothing happens. Other times a lot happens. But let's go through some of them. By the way, I gotta say, I love Canada. I love Canada. This is what happens when Canadians are furious. This is what you don't want Canadians to be like. It's when you push them too much. When you push them a little bit over the top, this is what Canadians will tell you. Right? When push comes to shove, and a Canadian can take no more. No more of your bullshit. So you will have this. Please leave me alone. I see. In all due honesty, has anyone actually fought one of these things? A geese, I mean. Have you fought one? You may not win. It looks like, it's a geese. These things are from hell. They're demonic entities. They get possessed by corn, and they only see bloodlust. And it's kind of true, they want to be left alone. Like, they usually have a territory which they religiously defend, and if you step on that territory, the geese activates. And when the geese activates, you better watch out. They also fly. They don't fly like a sparrow. No, they take off, like they lift off from the air, and they go around the height of your head so they can peck you better. Horrible things. Still, this is what a Canadian transforms into when he has no more time of your shit. When the shit becomes too much. Okay. Look at this one. This actually happened. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it, but it's true. So, Peter Dinklage made a interesting remark towards Disney, saying that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is offensive. Now, he didn't elaborate why it's offensive, because if you actually read the Snow White, the dwarves are the positive characters, they're the good guys. And when I was a kid, I liked the dwarves. Like, I wanted to be like friends with the dwarves because they're like really cool. You also get the vibe that they're magical creatures, like they're not actual humans that are suffering from dwarfism. And more importantly, they're the good guys, right? Like, they save Snow White, and they're protective of her. Apparently, Peter Dinklage said that he doesn't like them because they live in a cave, and that's stereotypical, and we can't have that in 2022. So, if Disney tells you that dwarves live in a cave, you might actually think that Peter Dinklage lives in a cave. So, that's why it's offensive. Yes, because that's how it works. Unfortunately, Peter should actually read the fucking thing and realize that, no, they did not live in a cave. They lived in a house. Snow White actually found a house in the forest where the dwarves lived. Now, you may say, oh, so 7 people lived in a house? Yes. During the medieval time period, people weren't as rich as we are today to afford, like, having a single family living in a home. No, like, back then, families lived together, and by family, you probably had like 6 or 7 brothers, and you also had your grandma and everyone living together. So yes, like people were concentrated into small houses. But Peter didn't like that, so a lot of people made a joke, myself included, saying that maybe a lot of dwarves in Hollywood, like actual people that are suffering from dwarfism, have been fired because of Peter Dinklage. Right? And it turns out that it's true because there's actually an actor who says Peter Dinklage just put 7 of us out of a job. Dwarf actor Fury at Disney for canceling 7 dwarves from Snow White's remake because the woke multimillionaire Game of Thrones star said they were offensive. Can you imagine just how pissed off these people are? Like, it's not just the fact that you lost money. But you're a Hollywood actor, like this is how you make your name. If anything, I would contact Peter Dinklage, like make it official. Do it on TikTok. Like if I was this guy, I would go to Peter Dinklage's house and ask him for money. It's like, okay, asshole, you got us fired. Now give us money because you have a lot. Let's do some of that redistribution. Let's do some of that social justice. Show how much you care about the community of little people. Huh? Probably not. You know, like Peter Dinklage got up, climbed the ladder, and is now kicking it for anyone else to climb. So that if you want to cast a small person in a movie, you have to call Peter Dinklage. You can't call any of the other actors. There are no other actors. He is the only one. It's like Highlander. There can be only one. Very, very disturbing what he did, by the way. And you know what's even more disturbing? He's not going to get any flack for it. He's not, like, this bad publicity isn't going to stick on his ass. But it is what it is, you know, like, as long as you claim you're for social justice, you can be the most mean person, you can hurt people, you can do whatever you want, and there's going to be absolutely no accountability. No one is going to hold you accountable for the shit that you're doing. And by the way, good luck, Disney, making Snow White without the 7 dwarfs. Maybe they should hire Peter Dinklage, like in that movie with Eddie Murphy, you know, where Eddie Murphy gets to play everyone. It should be like the 7 dwarfs, all played by Peter Dinklage. Through Pixar magic. Or, well, Disney magic, I guess. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! I wonder if people are like, let Peter Dinklage's name be entered into the Book of Grudges. He does deserve the other actors to put his name into the Book of Grudges. I do agree with that. Is it a microaggression what he did? No, I think it's a macroaggression. I think it's a huge type of aggression. Do you know how livid I would be? Like, imagine this. If I was to be invited by Disney to play the role of a Romanian, and another Romanian would complain because it's offensive to have Romanians and they would get me out of a job, my fucking God. I would be absolutely fuming. Billy Blogs thinks they are going to make Snow White brown or black. No, they're going to make her Latinx. She's going to be Latinx. Yeah. It is a woke horror show, what they're doing to Snow White. Again, Snow White and the 7 dwarfs without the dwarfs. At this point, just make a sequel. Like, the dwarfs don't have to be in the sequel. You can make Snow White and the 7 giants. Andre the Giant probably doesn't care, like he's okay with it. Snow White and the 7 Giants. That would be something to see, wouldn't it? That would be something to behold. I would actually go and watch it. It's been Hollyweird types MO lately of putting the ladder to keep others from climbing. Yeah. It's not. That's the thing, right? It's not just Peter Dinklage. There's a lot of comedians that manage to make a lot of edgy jokes. And the only reason they're successful is because being edgy in the 90s. And they made a lot of politically incorrect jokes and all of that. And now they are the defendants of PC culture. Like, there was an actual British actor, I forgot his name. But there was this UK comedian which actually played the role of Hitler in a show. And he was the one complaining about Count Dankula training his dog to do the salute. Right? So Count Dankula training his pug to do the salute. That was problematic because it normalizes Nazism. But him playing the role of Hitler, that's fine. Right? So he's allowed to do the comedy back in the day. But Count Dankula is not allowed to do the comedy. He should be put in prison. So it's like, yeah, exactly what you say. It's people kicking down the ladder. It is the Hollywood MO trope. Another one is that chick which plays Black Widow. Whatever her name is. I don't fucking care. Scarlett Johansson. Okay. So Scarlett Johansson, you know, she's young, she's beautiful, she's attractive, she plays Black Widow. And then she complains about sexismus. And it's not just Black Widow that she played. She also played another movie where she actually appears nude. So, after, you know, like, monetizing herself and climbing the ladder of success, and I'm not saying what she did is wrong. I mean, if you're in Hollywood and you want to star in those types of movies, go ahead. Right? But she manages to get on top, and then she's complaining about sexism. She doesn't want other beautiful women to look good. Because I guess now she's more middle-aged and she can't appear in those roles. So she doesn't want other women to climb the ladder that she climbed. Very horrible people. Robert Carlisle. Robert Carlisle is the one from the UK. Okay, the more I know. Scarlett Johansson used to be hot. Yeah, when she was hot, she wasn't complaining about objectifying, right? And even then, it's like, oh my god, like, Black Widow was objectifying. She's not going to donate the money that she made. She made millions of dollars from those movies. She's not going to donate anything. It's like, okay, if you think it's objectifying, donate money to the women's shelter. You know, do something. No, well, it's easy to flap your mouth. Like, this is how I imagine Hollywood actors do. They flap their mouth, and all this social justice dribble comes out, but their actions are of a person that's incredibly selfish, mean, rude, disrespectful towards others, lecturing. But no, they're beacons of morality. Oh god, I wonder how it's like to actually be a social justice advocate, honestly, because I wonder how it's like to see your ideology being pissed away by people who are millionaires and they clearly do not believe in what they're saying. The only thing they're doing is that they're saying the correct things. Whatever. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the drama, and maybe you guys can help me out a little bit, because something happened. So the Quartering and the Yellow Flash are having a spat, and I'll tell you what I think. And you guys can tell me if I'm right or not. Let me just find out. Where is the Quartering? Where's the Quartering's YouTube channel? No, not the YouTube channel. Sorry, the Twitter account. The Quartering. All right, here we go. So. Can't even find it. I'll tell you. Alright, whatever. So, the Quartering is looking to get that G4 media lady, you know, the one that told gamers that we're sexist and whatnot, right? So, he wants to get her on his channel. And from what I understand, he needs to talk to her agent. Like, that's how it works, right? Like, she wants to go on one of these YouTubers' channels and talk to the agent. And the Quartering doesn't want to be confrontational with her. He just wants to have a normal conversation. Now, the Yellow Flash and a couple of other prominent people from the comics industry, like, I think it was Ethan Van Sciver on that stream and other people. Yeah, Frosk. He wants to have the Frosk lady. And there's, on the other side of the argument, you have Yellow Flash and other prominent YouTubers. They're having a stream, and they're really upset about this, and they're calling the Quartering out, and they're asking for the Quartering to come online. Now, the Quartering doesn't want to come on their channel because he says, oh, you're just wanting me there to get super chats. And, you know, like, everyone's like, okay, what's your take on this, V? Well, my take on this is that there's two different factions here. You have the quartering, which wants to run his channel like a business. I mean, this is literally what it is. I don't think the quartering cares about the culture war. I don't think he wants to change anything. I think he just wants to run his channel like a business. He's a business person. That's what it is. You know, he just wants to be professional, I guess. And then you have the people who genuinely want the fandom to improve, who want to have the culture war and want to win it. And they don't understand why the quartering is doing this. So, that's really what's going on. Now, it is a drama, yeah. And I do think like they wanted the quartering on their channel, like Yellow Flash wants the quartering on his channel for Super Chats, because otherwise you can talk behind closed doors. I mean, most YouTubers can contact each other. Like, we have Discord and we have the positive. So you can talk with him behind the screen. If I was the quartering, I would probably not go on the Yellow's Flash either. Like, why go at a place where there's like 5 or 6 other people that disagree with you? Like, you're not going to win that argument. Like, what are you trying to prove, right? If it's one-on-one, sure. But when it's 1v5 or something like that, like, dude, you're not going to win. Like, even if I go with, like, 5 flat earthers or whatever, like, if it's 1v5, and they all tackle you from different angles, like, you're not going to hold your own. Now, do I think that the quartering is doing something good? No, I don't. Honestly, I wouldn't do what he is doing. I mean, what do you mean, like, invite that lady and not be confrontational? That lady just insinuated that you and your community are a bunch of women haters. How dare she? How dare she mock my community? How dare she stigmatize my friends? Of course I'm going to be confrontational. Like, she would have to explain why she thinks that my mother and my wife are sexist. She would have to explain with what right does she have to lecture people. She would have to explain why is she going on a gaming channel and not talking about video games, but instead going on a tangent on rants. And even then, you know, like she said, I'm not as bangable as the previous women. Well, isn't that sexist? Like, you think the previous women are bangable? Have you spoke with them? Do they like what you say about them? Like, are you saying they have nothing to say? Like, how dare you? Of course I would be controversial. Why even invite her if it's not being controversial? So, yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. But, the quartering, right, has his own channel, can do whatever he wants. I will not watch the interview that he has with that lady. I legitimately do not care. If you're not controversial and you're just getting there in order to just talk about whatever, I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not going to click it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not giving that lady any clicks. If Polygon had her on, it's exactly how the quartering would have her on. I would not watch it. I do not watch where anyone who insults the gaming community and stigmatizes my friends goes to speak. If you have a person like that, I'm not interested. 0 clicks, 0 views. Period. What do you mean you're not controversial? Then why have her on? I mean, I seen her when she's not controversial. She insults people. She stigmatizes people. You need to push back against that shit. The quartering has successfully manifested the profitable drama business and he complains about super chats. Well, I mean, it's not his super chats, right? Just because I like my super chats doesn't mean I like other people's super chats. I can understand it. It's a business. Of course. Of course. It's his business. He can make money however he wants. But I don't have to watch it. I'm not watching it. No. Yeah. Big disavow, yes. None of these people go at the kill stream now. It's too far right for these centrists. Well, you know, if YouTube wasn't the way it was and you didn't have the terms of service you do, I actually do say this, that I'm very upset because you can't have live streams anymore. There's so many people that have a live stream and the guest says something off the cuff and boom, channel gets banned. So it's very sad. And it is what it is. We don't make the TOS on this platform. You know, why don't you build up your channel for like 6 years and invest all your effort and energy into making something, and after 6 years, ruin that away by having someone that says things that are against the TOS, which you have no control over. So whatever. He's just going to agree with almost everything she says. And then he'll claim victory because he made 1 or 2 good points. I mean, I don't know. Like, I saw his videos and his takes. It's like, oh, yes, I do think it's not okay for people to give her harassment. I don't fucking care. Look, I'm watching a show to be entertained. She is paid to be an entertainer. If she's getting harassment from other people, she should take it out in private. It's not my job and my responsibility to hear her out. Okay? I'm not the one sending her harassment. I'm not encouraging people to send harassment. I don't want to hear it. I don't care about your personal problem. Imagine if like some anchor from CNN comes up like Don Lemon and tells you about his personal problems in the kitchen that day and regarding cooking and whatnot. I don't fucking care. No one wants to hear that. That's your personal life. Oh, you're getting mean comments, blah, blah, blah. So do I. I get mean comments every freaking day. Do I bitch and moan about it? Maybe I should. Should complain about it. Getting mean comments. Imagine like, you know, like when you're, like every single job, literally every single job has downsides. Like if you're a chef, so not a chef, if you're a salesman at McDonald's or KFC, you're going to deal with unwanted customers. You know, some customers are going to be rude. Some customers are going to make off the cuff remarks. You're going to deal with all that. Don't like it, quit. If you're a doctor, you're going to have to tell patients that their kids are going to end up dying. You know, maybe they have leukemia. There's nothing you can do. I mean, that's horrible compared to getting some mean tweet on a job that is so simple. All you have to do is to sit there and talk about video games. And you can make $3,000 a month, probably more. I mean, she has an agent. She's rich, right? So that's her job. She sits on the couch, talks about video games, cashes in. It's too difficult. Oh my God, mean comments online. Yo, mean comments. Oh. And then I see the quartering coming up. Oh, I can understand. No, I can't understand it. There is nothing to understand. Absolutely nothing. If she's getting mean comments, block those people. It's between her and the mean person. Block them. Mute them. I don't care. Turn the comments off. Give them disability. Don't come to me and stigmatize an entire community over the message of a couple of people. Bah. Thank you, Zenith. I appreciate it. Yeah, the salesman at McDonald's. The guy, the cashier. Whatever do you call it. The one that takes your order. Is the waiter, whatever you call it. Thank you, Tomas. Yeah, she's literally a big grown-ass adult, unable to handle her business. Grow up. Exactly. Grow up. I don't get it. It's like, what is there to understand? There's nothing to understand. It's not my business to understand. I am there as her customer, and I need to be entertained. I want to watch about video games. I want to talk about video games. That's it. Period. When she's offline, when she's on Reddit, she can talk about how much she wants about mean comments and whatever. Thank you, Blade Trainer. And by the way, again, I'm not sending her mean comments. I'm not asking people. And the idea like YouTubers are sending her hate is also ridiculous. Like, I can't get people to click on my subscribe button. I can't get people to click on the thumbs up. I can't get people to send me super chats. If I had the ability to mind control and puppeteer people, do you think anyone would bother with her? Mean girl gossip transformed for the digital age. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not unblocking anyone. I don't even think I blocked you on Facebook, Socken. Oh yeah, I did block you on Facebook, Socken Puppe. You keep coming drunk and sending me bizarre messages during the middle of the night. Shut the fuck up. You're blocked from Facebook. Like, Facebook is for family and friends. Jesus. You're the only guy. See, I even knew who I was blocking. Guys, imagine you're me, right? Like, and by the way, Do I come and complain about Socken Pupe's drunken rants every day? No, I don't. Do I go and read them online? Do I make a big deal out of it? No. Do you see how I do it? Do you see? I take it like a man, like a champ. I don't make a big deal out of it. It's between me and Socken Pupe. And his drunk rants every fucking night. Happened once. I was like, okay. It's happening again. Pisses me off, I block him. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. I did not report him for harassment. What's kind of funny. Unless it's a different person, okay? It might be that I'm mistaken. And it's not Socken Pupe. But from what I know, there's only one guy I blocked on Facebook. So, Socken Pupe, if you are not drunk and coming with rants at me, then it was... I didn't block you, alright? So, it's just one guy that I blocked on Facebook. No, you're not as bad as Socken Pupe when you talk... Okay, fine. Let me read you. I'll read you some of the rants. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. I need to look into the messenger. Chotomate. It's going to be worth it. I guarantee to you. The thing is, I have a feeling. Oh, all right. Oh my god, this is just. So I don't know if this is Socken Pupe. All right. Full disclosure, it might not be him. Man, let me give you an example of what I get. All right. So Socken Pupe, I don't know if this is you, but if it's you, shame on you. All right, sober up. Imagine like during the middle of the night, you get a wall of text like this. But no, it has to be shown. I can't just read it. It needs to be seen to be believed. Behold. So I didn't show the avatar, the name, or look in our comment section of Urlas vids. ... Do you think that's normal? We're not the only one. Every comment section is full of this. Nazis are bad. Don't talk about the game's fault though. You are also perfect trained Nazis everywhere. I told you. ... And that is just the start. The Nazi trope will become more prevalent next month. Shh. Every Romanian was Securitate. And before that, every Romanian was... Okay? I can't deal with this shit. Socken Pupe, is this you? I don't know who this is. But if you said that I blocked you on Facebook, I assume this is you. Okay? I cannot deal with this level of shit. The reason is that I don't understand it. And when I don't understand it... Oh, that was a bad... Oh, so it was you. Okay, it was a bad day. Alright, I understand. Fine. Well, it seems you had more than one bad day because this is consistent. Look at this. 1, I'm drunk. 2, fuck you, Dracula. Hundreds of people talk to you. Odin bless you. And by the way, the only way I can talk to you is when I'm drunk, as you are you. You are internet personality. Alright. Okay, fine. Look, there is a communication block, okay? It's not you, it's me. I just don't understand what you're trying to say. I just have a difficulty comprehending what you're trying to transmit to you. And I get it. I get it. It was a bad day. All right. But I feel bad. I genuinely feel bad because I want to be nice. And then I say something and you get angry. Because you don't understand. Like we have like a communication error. Like there's something where you can't understand what I'm saying and I can't understand what you're saying. So it's best if things are left unsaid. We need to have like words best left unsaid over the breakfast table. How about that? Hello, Mark. Nah, it's not maximum cringe. It's just that I'm explaining to you why I blocked him. Because usually I don't block people. But you can contact me on Twitter if you really want to. When you're sober, please. Okay? Not when you're drunk, Pupe. When you're drunk, you're a different person. You're like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I don't know if he left. Hopefully he didn't get upset. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's not productive, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we should go to friendship counseling, Soke Pupe. What do you think about that? Are there Nazis at the friendship counseling? I don't know. Yeah, I did break up. Friendship Castle. Call me when you're sober. I actually did tell him this. Like, call me when you're sober. The thing is, like, I was recording videos. And it's like, message. It's like, dude, leave me alone. I don't even know what you're saying. What Nazis? Who's the national song? Wah. Anyway, right. Should we talk about Canada? Let's talk about Canada. Do we have time? We have time for Canada. So, there's something funny about Canada. Apparently, I made a mistake last time I was streaming, and I got called out. I said that the truckers got their demands met, like one of their demands, within the first day of protesting. And everyone was like, oh, V, you don't know what you're talking about. V, you need to read more on the subject. It's not day 1, it's day 5. Okay. I was wrong. But this is what I like. It's like the chat calls me out. This is why the journalists don't like having comment sections, I guess. V building bridges, now Biden can visit. What are you talking about? The moment I blocked him, I burned the bridge. Do you not see? He's probably drunk right now, wanting me to unblock him so he can tell me about the Nazis. I don't know. But okay. Let me just find some of the comments that people gave. The honking has been getting louder. I live right downtown, and it's only been getting louder as the day's gone. They're honking for hours. The constant honking. I feel like we're under attack. I live downtown. It's an absolute nightmare. I just see MAGA hats and non-mask wearers everywhere, and they're honking for hours. I hope they freeze their balls off, not gonna lie. I'm getting tired of the constant honking and helicopters circling my apartment. Does anyone know when they are going to stop honking? My mental health can't take any longer. I almost threw up from the constant honking at my office. I hope our members of parliament are safe and secure before the things get agitated tonight. I was just saying to a friend this would cause me severe mental anguish from the honking. Honk! Meanwhile, the blue check marks. Not gonna lie, listening to the white supremacists honk their horns outside my house is stressing me out. Oh, fuck it. If they will stop honking, then end them. Honking status update. Still honking. The amount of noise the protesters are making in residential areas is obscene. I'm literally standing outside of London, drugs, crying, and having a massive panic attack because of these fucking white supremacist freedom fighters driving by and honking. I have a headache from the honking. If you drive down my street honking and wave a big ass Canadian flags, please know that Ellie hates you. Go honk yourself. I have a headache from the honking. Adult babies, stop hanking outside my home challenge. Fun fact, my landlord is an anti-vaxxer and there's a giant fucking anti-vax convoy. He's allowing them to sit in our parking lot honking their horns at night because he supports them. And they are all outside getting drunk and screaming. I just, look, I'm not an expert. But I were to say that telling people what bothers you when people want to bother you isn't the right approach. Like, if you know someone wants to upset you, telling them what upsets you might be a potentially bad idea. Post the one with the pooping cat. Yes, I will post the one with the pooping cat. Fine. You convinced me. So, the case of the pooping cat. Are you guys ready? Are you prepared? Let me see if I can find the pooping cat first. Alright, I found the pooping cat. Our kitty, Fear, pooped in our bed, among other places. She never has accidents outside the box. I am livid. My poor little girl. I feel so terrible for the pets downtown. They cannot handle the honking. I can't show it. It's YouTube. Show it. You make a YouTube channel and show it. Honk! Well, okay, here's the thing. I kept saying about this, but it's not difficult to understand, especially in Canada, right? You don't have an electoral college, which means that any politician which seduces 3 cities can win the election. The problem is that what city folk want and what rural folk want sometimes is different. And I gave the example of gun control, right? If you're in a rural area and the police are 1 hour away and you can have wild animals on your farm or you can have burglars or whatnot, you can't rely on calling 911. Why? Because it takes 1 hour for them to get there. Meanwhile, if you're in the city, you call 911 and in 5 minutes the cops are there. So people in the city, they want gun control. People in the rural area, they don't. That's just one example out of many. So you may say, oh, well, we won elections, so now we can do whatever we want to the rural people. Okay. Well, they can come over there and honk. And by the way, they probably got pissed off in order to do that. They're not getting paid by anyone to strike. I mean, when they're striking, they're not getting money. You're insulting them by calling them white supremacists. Usually when I think of truckers, I don't think of skinheads. If they were motorcyclists, maybe people would have believed you, but they're the working class. They're literally the people that put food on your table, you dumbasses. I mean, without them, you're going to notice shortages in supermarkets. You can have a city without university professors and without lawyers and without so many politicians. You can still have a city. You can still have a country. You can't have a country without truckers. But apparently, you have entitled blue checkmarks on Twitter who are insulting them further. The same blue checkmarks that supported AOC when she said that the whole purpose of a protest is to upset people. AOC said that. No one called her a white supremacist. Even though she does the okay hand sign. So when AOC does it, you're okay with it. Okay. They noticed you're okay with it. So now they're coming to you. And they're protesting. It's a human right to protest. And you're upset. Okay. Whatever. You know? And by the way, it's the middle of the winter. No one protests in the middle of the winter because they like how things are going. You probably upset them a little too much. Maybe instead of calling them white supremacists, maybe you should talk to them like human beings. Try doing that. Try having a conversation with them. Try hearing their grievances. Find the middle ground. Maybe not what they want and not what you want. Find the middle ground. You can have a city without lawyers. Can you though? Yes. Actually, the concept of a lawyer is very new one. Before, the person would defend themselves. So you can literally defend yourself. You can have a city without lawyers. Yes, you can. Did you ever cover the British guy in the countryside that shot the burglars? No, I haven't. I've never heard about the case. I guess he went to prison, probably. There is no middle ground. Marxists are evil, and they will never stop until they destroy us. Whatever. No, I disagree. Like, there's always a middle ground. You can definitely find something, but the problem is that the Marxists are the ones that want to talk, right? Like, they're the ones that... I mean, Justin Trudeau literally did it with his own hand. And I kept saying this in the last stream, and I stand by it. The worst thing that can happen in any country is a trucker strike. Probably not the worst, but one of the worst, right? Because not only does it block supply chains, now you don't have food on the shelves, but secondly, it blocks the streets and the honking and all of that. Like, you can paralyze a state if the truckers are striking in record numbers. And what you want to do in that situation is to talk with them and find a solution. What you don't want to do is antagonize them and say that they're just a small minority that no one cares about. Because then you're done fucked up. You literally pour gasoline over the fire. Same folks complaining about most truckers are the ones that cut them off in traffic. Well, I don't have a car, so I don't know what that is like. But yeah, I kind of get why people cut off a trucker in traffic. I mean, it's kind of annoying to drive behind a truck. You don't see what's in front of you. There's a lot of smoke emissions coming from the truck. Yeah, no, I get it. You know, like, a lot of people don't like being behind the truck. The honking, yes. If it hits your tables, truckers brought it. Yeah. Unless you're like literally next to a railway station. But even then. These people don't understand how the world works. I mean, they live in fantasy la la land. They're not grateful. I mean, they're more grateful of a university professor than they are of a trucker. And again, you can have a country without university professors. You can't have a country without truckers. I mean, I guess you can, you know, but like before truckers, you still had like merchants, which had caravans. So like in the medieval time, it was like you can't have a nation without caravans. The elite want to turn people against the government so that we can go through the Mad Max anarchy, then the New World Order steeps in and takes control. No, the elites just want you to be citizen against citizen. A truck can't stop as fast. Cutting them off is a dumb... Again, I don't have a driving license. I don't know. Most trucks, by the way, aren't they supposed to drive outside of the city? Like, they drive around the city, so within the city limits, there aren't that many trucks to begin with. It's nice to drive behind a truck. It's pretty safe. It saves on fuel, and they can see much farther ahead of us, so we can plan well if there's an accident. Okay, well, whatever. Dude, I don't care. But I'll tell you this: if the trucking keeps going, like if the strike keeps going, the economy is going to take a bad hit in Canada. Like, you're going to see supply shortages. Most stores probably have enough supplies to last them for a week at most. After a week, there's going to be supply shortages. Again, truckers don't usually strike. It's very rare that it happens. It's good to hear them out. See what they're upset about and see if you can find a way. Anyway, they will replace trucks with peasants. Yes, the case for driving behind the truck, yes. Anyway, yeah, that's what I thought. Like, trucks can only drive on certain streets. Like, I didn't think you can drive behind one in a city. Self-driving trucks will get here fast. No, not really. And we've already talked in a previous video about it. Again, like, think about it this way. If you're a company, right, and you have a self-driving truck, like, if it does any sort of car crash, you're to blame. The company is to blame, right? So any accident, anything that happens, I mean, think about it this way. Let's say that the truck accidentally runs into someone. Like, there's a glitch, and it accidentally runs into someone and kills the person. You, the company, are guilty now. And the PR is going to be that you are responsible for a murder. Now, if there's a truck driver, so you don't have like a self-driving car, you have a truck driver, and he does something bad, well, he's responsible, right? So I don't think like self-driving trucks are going to be a thing soon. The only way you can have them is like maybe you have like a specified street only for self-driving trucks, but then that's like a train. So I genuinely don't see this happening. I don't see self-driving trucks appearing for at least a couple of years. And even when they appear, like, the legislation would need to be changed somehow so that the company isn't responsible entirely. Like, maybe you have like an insurance or something. I don't know how it's going to be like, but you need to consider the fact that, yes, like, you as a company, you prefer for the driver to be held responsible for any accident. Because if there's no driver, then the owner of the truck is responsible. And the owner of the truck is the company. You sweet summer child? What do you mean, Mentat? Are you telling me that if your mom would be injured by a self-driving truck, you wouldn't sue that company? Do you think the company would like the PR shitstorm? You basically need to turn the roads into railroads and put markers on them. Yeah, but at that point, why not just use the train? Why even use a truck if you can do that? Like monorail. Yeah, like, again, why not just use a truck? Sorry, why not just use a train? Why, like the whole advantage of a truck is that you can drive it faster and you can maneuver it, like on various streets and roads that trains can't go. So what is the purpose then of just doing like what you're saying, monorail or just painting the road or whatever? The company isn't going to be blamed. The car maker is. It depends, because the car maker can just say, it's actually more difficult than that. So, for example, if you need to do maintenance, like if you're having to do maintenance and you didn't do it, then the company is to blame. But yeah, I guess like the car maker can also be blamed. The law would be very murky. I guess like immediately you would blame the company because the person would sue the company, right? Like they're the ones with the car, with the truck. They bought the truck. They should have known it if it's work or not. So like you would sue the company and then maybe the company would sue the car maker. But the problem is like by that time, the company would take a big PR hit. Installing, maintaining trucks or rails would be way cheaper than the normal train. Probably, I don't know. But like, Wouldn't it take an entire chunk of the road just for the self-driving ones? Have you seen the people looting trains in the US? No, I haven't. But I did talk about it in This Week is Stupid. It is the defund the police. I mean, what do you expect? What the hell did they expect when they came up with the concept of defunding the police? What did they thought is going to happen? But this is something that here's the main problem with the left. Okay, this is like the biggest issue. And recently there was actually a scandal where you have a transgender woman who raped a child. I think it was 16 or something. Let me actually hold on. I'll tell you the exact story in a bit. You can Google it and you can. All right. So a trans child molester, 26, who sexually assaulted a girl, age 10, is sentenced to 2 years in a juvenile facility. Oh, that's going to teach her, isn't it? That's going to teach this pedophile by sending him in a juvenile facility. The judge slams woke LA DA George Gascon, who refused to prosecute her as an adult. So, the reasoning that the prosecutor refused to prosecute this rapist as an adult is because they said that trans people have it hard in prison. And this is leftist mindset, which means that you have more compassion for the criminal than you have for the victim. Right? Now, progressive ideology suggests the concept that prisons are bad and we need to focus more on rehabilitation, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Before progressive ideology, if you look at how nations used to punish criminals in medieval time, like for example in Romania, we had the salt mines. So what were the salt mines? The salt mines was a hole in the earth. So imagine like a big hole in the earth where they would drop a ladder and the criminal would go in and then they would pull the ladder up and they would never come out, ever. Like that is it, okay? Like you go in and you never come out. So when you're in the salt mine, there are no guards in there. There's just criminals. And what they do is like they mine salt. They give the salt back up once a week. And in exchange for that, they get food. That's it. And when they die, they put the corpse there and the guards take it out. And that was it. So that was the punishment before prison. Now, prison is something very humane. And you have to understand why they did this, because it sounds harsh, right? Like it sounds barbaric. They did this because in medieval time, people couldn't feed themselves, let alone feed other people. Like no one cared about the criminals, right? Like if you are a pet, like the concept, like if you were to have a modern jail in medieval time, people would despise you because they would be like, what do you mean criminals get to live better than a homeless person? Are you insane? Like, why wouldn't people want to be criminals then, right? So that was the problem. It was the idea, like the concept of jail is actually merciful compared to what was before it. So the very fact, like, oh, America is a prison colony. Okay, fine. But don't give me the bullshit that it's cruel and inhumane compared to what used to be before jails. Secondly, the reason you put people behind jail, and the leftists forget this, but this is the main reason, is to separate the criminals from the law-abiding citizen. I, as a law-abiding citizen, want to be able to go out on the street without having someone hit me in the head, without having someone rob from me, without having someone rape me, right? Like, I want to be able to do all these things in a normal city. And if someone can't help them and they're doing this, they need to be separated from law-abiding citizens. That is why you have prison. As such, there is only two options. You're either tough on crime and you don't have criminals, or you're soft on crime and you have criminals. Everything else is ideological horse drivel. There is nothing in between. right? Rudy Giuliani, the way he cleaned up New York, which was a lot more dangerous than today, was he was tough on crime. That is simple as. Who do you have more compassion for, the criminal or the victim? That is the question. Do you care more about the victim or do you care more about the criminal? There is no buts or ifs. Very simple question. Let me read the super chat. Trucks aren't always going through roads. Also, those special markings would be just a way to mitigate risk and improve flow, not to stop accidents 100% of the time. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I don't know how developed the software is in order to be able to make fast decisions, especially like when something unpredictable happens. Like, let's say you have a deer that jumps in the middle of the road. Or, well, what if there's like a car crash in front of you? So a lot of times, for example, you can be on a highway and someone in front of you can be in a collision and they move away from their line over to yours. So you have to make a quick decision. Do you brake? Do you pull the wheel to the left? You know, sometimes the correct thing to do is to pull the car out of the road. Like pull it on the right. But the problem when you do that, when you pull the car off the road, it's very difficult to do because most drivers, for their entire life, they're like trying to keep the car on the road. So when you take the car off the road in order to avoid a collision, can a software do that? Is the software good enough to make the correct decision? I don't know. Maybe in time it will be, but I think it's pretty difficult. I got a super chat from Mentat. Job liability waivers 2.0. I don't know what that is, but $2 million southern U.S. border crossovers apprehended in Biden's first year, but the government is worried about the Ukrainian border. I think I explained the situation with Ukraine. I'm really surprised that CNN and Fox News doesn't talk about it. But long story short, Ukraine, after the fall of the Soviet Union, used to be the world's second largest nuclear superpower because it had a lot of the nukes from the Soviet Union. So the Americans and the Russians asked the Ukrainians to sign the denuclear treaty. So the Ukrainians gave up all their nukes in exchange for the United States and Russia to protect their territorial integrity. So in other words, you're not defending Ukraine's border necessarily because you love Ukraine. You're defending Ukraine's border because you signed a contract with them. You signed a deal. You promised them that their borders are going to be defended. That's why America cares about the border with Ukraine. Or do what America does? Go hands off crime, then prosecute citizens after the fact when they deal with them, like Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Speaking of cars, did you ever pass your driving test? So, I already said this. Because of COVID, I could only take my driving test twice. So, in an entire year, I could only attend the test twice. And my city has the second lowest probability rate in the entire country. Like only 25% or something of people that attempt the test manage to pass. So, I couldn't pass neither the first nor the second. The exam has theoretical questions, which I passed, like questions about the legislation and the car. That was easy. I passed that. But the actual driving is what was the problem. And I couldn't pass it because I need more driving hours. Like, I need to learn a little bit more. So, it's my fault. It's not that the instructor was bad or anything like that. No, I just did a lot of mistakes. So, I think I could be better. But the problem is, like, I only managed to take it twice. If I was able to take it a couple more times, I would have probably got it. But it's because of the pandemic. They don't allow for repeat testing. You talked about Trudeau leaving Canada. I didn't know that he actually left the country. So what I understand is that because he got sick all of a sudden, he isolated himself and he's under a secret undisclosed location. I mean, okay, I guess. I only managed to take the driving test because I passed the first time. Well, it depends on the city, motherfucker. You know, like if you have a city with 5 cars and 2 streets, don't come to me and like, oh, I passed the first time. Because I can do that as well. You know, I can take the driving test in some forgotten village and I can get it. It's different when you drive in a city with a lot of traffic and very old roads that are very narrow, and there's cars parked in front of every sign, and you can't even see the stop sign because there's a van parked in front of it. And there's cars parked in intersections, so it's very difficult to see what's behind the corner and that type of shit. Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Versus just going on a small village where you have like one roundabout and a single intersection. Yes, I could pay under the table. Yeah, oh my god, smartass. Yes, you can. And then you actually need to drive the car. I would rather know that I know how to drive than to bribe my way through. That is like the worst thing you can do. Bribe your way through the driving exam so that then you can have a car crash when you're parking. Yes, brilliant. Dude had a stroke and his car came straight at me from the opposite side in a tunnel. In a split second, I swerved into oncoming traffic as he veered in my lane, and no one got hurt. Tesla couldn't do that. Yeah, I mean, I would never go into oncoming traffic. I mean, think about it. Frontal collision is a lot worse than just hitting someone from the back. But yeah, I mean, that you do have a point. I don't think Tesla can do that. Like, these are split decisions that a driver can make. I don't think like AI will be able to ever be as competent as an actual driver. Like people say, you have to feel it most of the time. Yes. No, I can't ride the bicycle either. My daddy never held my tushy when I was riding a bike. Do you think Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's kid? I keep hearing people say that. I have no idea. You just need someone to show you in a empty parking lot. You're a freaking doc. I keep hearing this like you're a freaking doc. What the fuck does being a doctor and memorizing things and medical treatments have to do with driving a car? When it's all about muscle memory. First of all, I'm a doctor, not a surgeon. But even if I was a surgeon, like, this is the dumbest take. It's like, okay, you're a doctor. Why can't you play League of Legends? I don't understand. It's such a dumb question. You're a doctor. Why can't you get gold in League of Legends ranked? What is wrong with you? Everyone has gold in League of Legends ranked. You're a doc. You know, there's people that are university professors and can't get a driving exam. It's not like you can't pass the theoretical test. You don't know the legislation. No, it's not that. It's like driving is a lot about reaction and muscle memory. And you just have to do it until you get it memorized. By the way, like the best, I remember like the best guy in my class at med school. He was not just like the head student at the union, but he was also a straight A student. He failed the driving exam 7 fucking times. And unlike me, he was actually trying to get it in a small village with only one roundabout. What would make you feel safer on a highway full of AI trucks than human truck drivers? You know, like a highway with 100% AI trucks would probably be better than if you have human drivers in the mix. Ever thought about Mel Gibson looking like Saddam Hussein? Search Mel Gibson, totally looks like Saddam Hussein. There's a lot of people that look alike without being related. I feel I brought up a touchy subject. No, it's just funny. I don't mind it. Like at the end of the day, I don't really need a car that much. My wife needs it more than me because she keeps going in town. I mean, it would be nice if I had one, but from what I understand, you need like $200 a month of maintenance, like buying gas and paying taxes and all that shit. So, like, it's just an extra cost. I'm happy that I don't have. Like, right now, I want to focus on paying my mortgage, and I'm 1/3 on my way of paying my mortgage. So, if things keep going the same way they have, maybe in 2 years, I won't have a mortgage. So, that's like my number one priority right now, paying for the house that I bought. V, you're a doctor. Why can't you build your own self-driving AI? Mwah, that is like, yes, ushkshi. And so there's two things that really piss me off. Like, one of them is like, you're a doctor, why can't you drive? That is literally like the most dumb thing. It's not that it pisses me off, like makes me angry. It's like, how can you be so dumb to think that is connected? But the second one that really pisses me off is like, when you talk about like, oh, I would like to have a gazebo, and people are like, why don't you build it yourself? And I'm like, motherfucker, stop selling yourself short, okay? If you know how to build a gazebo, you have an actual skill. Like, you have something that's of value because most people don't know how to build a gazebo. So you are actually able to sell your labor. Like, you actually have something of value. If everyone would know how to build their fucking gazebo, no one would need you. You would be fucking worthless. So why are you trying to insinuate that everyone, like building a gazebo is so simple that everyone knows? Secondly, when you go to the hospital and you have something very simple, like appendicitis, you don't have the doctor going like, why did you come to the hospital? Why didn't you operate yourself? Why didn't you buy yourself a surgical kit at home and do the surgery yourself? It's so easy. It's so simple. Why did you come to the hospital? What, you can't learn about it? It's literally the same, right? Everyone knows how to do something. Stop trying to insinuate that everyone should know how to do the same shit. Why can't you learn how to drive? Is V's learn to cut? Yes. What about driving a scooter? I don't know. How do you drive a scooter during the middle of the winter, though? Most blokes should be able to knock up a functional gazebo. Fuck off. First of all, like, I would need the material. Like the most expensive part of the gazebo, at least in Romania, is not the actual labor. Like paying the guy to make the gazebo. No, the most expensive part is the equipment. So the power tools, the wood, the iron, like whatever you need in order to combine it to do the gazebo. That's the most expensive part. So if you have that down, then like paying someone to do it is not that expensive. And the difference is that if I know that someone does it professionally, I know it's not going to fall on top of my head. Like if I do the gazebo, maybe it's not sturdy, maybe it's going to fall down on top of me or some shit. Yeah, it's also the thing, it's like, maybe you make a gazebo and then you realize that it's winter and there's a lot of snow on top of it and the snow presses on top of the gazebo and it cracks and it falls down on your head. If you live stream the gazebo building, it will be so fun. I don't know how to make a gazebo. Shut the fuck up. I'm not even going to make a gazebo. I'm going to pay a man to make a gazebo, but after I pay the mortgage from my house. You're a doctor. Why can't you build a stealth bomber? It's called nails. Not to mention, I'm the type of guy that probably pisses off a lot of builders. So, imagine like I'm building, I don't know, like a cat tree. Right? Like, let me show you. So, imagine I'm building this, right? And this comes out of the box, like all the parts are separate, and you have to like put the screws and whatever. I'm the type of person that if I'm building this and like for example it needs 4 screws and I only have 3, I'm like, okay, good enough. And then I don't search for the 4th screw. You know what I mean? Like especially when I make a chair or something like that. If like the chair has 2 screws and I only have 1, I'm like, okay, good enough. And then I move towards the other. I have seen people like have their brains explode when I do this. Like they really freak out if you do this. You know, like the good enough doesn't really work when you have people who like building stuff. That's too fancy. I just Googled cat tree. I showed something that came up. Speaking of driving during winter, does Romania allows for the use of studded tires? So if you mean winter tires, they're actually required by law to have. I don't know the exact legislation, but I feel like when the first snow hits and it's bigger like than 30 centimeters or whatever, you need to have special winter tires. If you don't have them, you're going to get a fine. And not only that, like every single time there's a crash during winter, everyone, but did he have the tires? Did he have the tires? Oh my god, he didn't have the tires. It's like almost like they're the magical solution. It's like, yeah, you can have winter tires, but I still think you need to drive carefully. Just like you drive in summer. Is it a mistake to suggest that a doctor should be able to accomplish what a 60-year-old girl can do? I don't think so. The ability to study and learn. So, first of all, kids can actually memorize a lot faster than a 36-year-old. Yeah, it's a lot more easy for kids to do stuff. If you look at video games, like a lot of the people who win championships in most video games, they're very young. You don't see 45-year-olds winning championships. Secondly, a 16-year-old girl can be very good at Dota, and maybe she's got like diamond ranking. Does that mean that if a doctor can't get diamond ranking at Dota, he's not a good doctor? Like, well, I don't get your logic. You know, like 16-year-olds can play very good first-person shooter games. 16-year-olds can be great skaters. Like, do you need to be a good skater if you're a doctor? Do you need to do everything that a 16-year-old can? Extreme sports? Mountain hiking? I don't know. Not to mention, I don't like driving. Did that occur to you? Do I need to like it? If you don't like something and you don't put passion in it. I mean, hell, if you want, like, there's 16-year-olds that have 1 million subscribers on Twitch. If you're a doctor and you don't have 1 million subscribers, just because you can't do what a 16-year-old can, does that make you less of a doctor? Like, I don't understand the logic. There's a hypothesis that Greys are Chinese from the future. They look very similar. Really? I cynically really hope you approached your surgical rotations during clinicals with the same approach you do when building a chair. Yeah, but I'm not a surgeon. I didn't like surgery. I never did. Yeah, what self-respecting patient will let a doctor with no Dota ranking treat them? Look, I'm not saying that if you're 40 you can't be a good skater, but what I'm saying is that not everyone likes to skate, and not everyone can learn to skate. Being a doctor is like being a mechanic. They are very similar. Yeah, but being a mechanic is actually different than driving. I probably could be a mechanic. I mean, I don't see why not. It's not the... I mean, it's a nice trade. I used to be passionate about building computers and stuff, and I think like a car engine might be similar. But driving is different. I mean, you have to watch the speed limit. You have to watch what gear you're in. You have to look at the road signs. You have to keep your eyes on the road for obstacles. Like, you have to do like 5 or 6 things at the same time. And the only way you can get good at it is if you get muscle memory. You get to the point where you're not like constantly worrying about whether or not you have the correct speed or whether or not you're in the correct gear or whatever, right? So when you get that down, then, well, you now know how to drive. I'm not there yet. Yeah, I can't skate either. I'm not very mobile. The only thing I know is to run and walk. Gear, what are you driving? It's called a car. Anyway, right. We're going to stop it here because it's 1 hour. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to upload my videos on my entertainment channel soon. Thank you for the super chats, and don't forget I'll be streaming tomorrow again, probably same hour, and I'll see you guys there. Take care.